After that, we were supposed to have Becky Lynch versus Summer Rae, but the match went to no contest, never even got started. Because once Becky Lynch entered the ring, she ran right after Natalya at ringside, just beat the living crap out of her. And I like that. I mean, it made me think, like, why don't we see this more often? Why don't we see wrestlers, when they're in the ring getting ready for a match, why do they never go after the person at ringside on commentary, like their rival, who is usually sitting at ringside or on commentary or whatever? Why do they rarely ever go after them? I know they usually go after them like towards the end of the match, like they get involved or they start brawling or whatever, but very rarely before the match even begins that wrestler is involved in, do they go after their rival at ringside. I thought that was interesting. It kind of made me think like, wow, why don't we see this more often? So I thought it was logical, it was good, nice furthering of the feud. And moreover than anything else, it's nice to have a feud that's not over the women's championship. I couldn't tell you the last time that was the case. I mean, we've had that before, right before WrestleMania, not WrestleMania itself. I mean, right before WrestleMania, we had the Becky and Sasha versus Team Bad feud, and then going into WrestleMania, we had the Total Divas versus the True Divas, whatever the hell it was called. And it wasn't really much of a feud, but it was a separate women's match, separate from the women's championship match on the actual WrestleMania card. So it's cool to see that for the first time since WrestleMania, we have a feud that's not over the women's championship. I mean, we have a women's title feud, obviously, between Charlotte and Sasha Banks, but it's cool to have another feud going on in the division. And I feel like the division's been kind of stagnant. I mean, I'm happy they're calling it the women's division again, but ever since WrestleMania, it's been all about Charlotte and Natalya and Dana Brooke, and that's about it. But now that Sasha's back, Becky Lynch is now feuding with a heel Natalya. We have all these fresh faces. Summer Rae's resurfacing on Raw at long last. So we finally have all these cool puzzle pieces and these fresh faces in the women's division, that it's making the division more interesting than it's been in a long time. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this feud pans out. Hopefully they square off with the upcoming Battleground pay-per-view.